Welcome to Deep Thought. Serious mental health crisis in society. And it is you know what? We're talking about, there's always conversations about some of the medical stuff. Conversations, commercials. If I'm watching like a news channel during the day, usually that's what I do. Commercials on medical stuff. Of course, some medical issue, and you take this pill and, but don't take it if you got this and it could have this side effect. I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I'm gonna tell you what though, something that really needs to be talked about is the mental health crises. The mental health. A lot of people just not thinking right. I was talking with an elder about that the other day. And he was saying there's something that's a serious issue, a serious issue. And I'm gonna tell you what, because I had worked at I had mentioned several times I worked at the Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division, voting rights, I did work at voting rights, but disability rights section. And one of the things I learned there is how many people who function in everyday jobs, but they got mental health issues. Because if a person has a mental health issue, it leads to other stuff. It leads to people being triggered by the slightest thing, even if you're not trying. It leads to people trolling. It leads to people not being able to be in a strong relationship because they got mental health issues that prevent them. And, you have some people who can still work. They can function enough to work on a regular job. But even then, that could be a mental health thing, how they do. If you look at people's behavior and what they're doing that's within them. It ain't the days doing it. And, at most, the days might be promoting the mental health issues. But, and it's so many things that could lead to it. Just some basics. When I was speaking with the elder, he was saying, if people having trouble just eating every day, getting a meal, or, they can't pay their rent, they have to be homeless. It's so many things. Indeed, that's why you have a drug problem. That's why you have this thing with fentanyl and everything. It has to be some mental health issue for someone to take a substance that can ultimately kill them because they are trying to get away from the issues. They're not really dealing with it. Seriously, even with relationships. I really, even though I provide a philosophy on how a man can deal with a woman, a lot of guys, a lot of women too need to deal with the mental health thing. In fact, I will give it to women as a group. More of them will go to therapy. But why they in therapy is some issue, mental health issue. And it's a real crisis that's not really talked about. It's a real crisis, and I'm not a professional. Like, I can't provide a solution for it other than to say we need more mental health professionals. But indeed, sometimes I've heard of mental health professionals, they needed some help. They needed some help. And it's something, it's not something that I personally can answer the whole situation other than saying, oh yeah, we need more mental health professionals. But that's cliche to say we need that. What I would say though, is that we need people who can, we need to look at it, we need to acknowledge it, in different areas. How much of this whole financial situation, let me say it. Because sometimes, we'll talk about somebody who might genetically have some type of disorder or something, and that's something, but then the living situation. Like I remember back when I was in DC, there was a guy who would get on the bus, and he was a racist dude. And me and him almost got in a fight a couple times. But then there was one of the bus drivers said, no, I remember this dude before he lost the job. Then he started drinking. That affected his mental health. Like the financial situation out here, people, being laid off of jobs, or they working hard, or they may even be working on a job. There's a lot of people working on a job. but they still in some type of poverty. Even homeless. You got some people who are technically homeless, but they're working on a job. That's got to affect their mental health. You know, it's something that is bigger than me. I'm just gonna be real. It's bigger than me. You know, it's something that has to be taken care of, like really, and not just like, you know, some, you know, TV special or documentary or something like that. It needs to be looked at overall, you know, on myriad levels. Like I said, a lot of people have mental health issues just because of, you know, just regular situations. It could be a breakup. You know, some people, they might not handle stuff a certain way. You know, how people treat each other out here. You could say that's a mental health thing. How people treat each other. I mean, there's so many things. It would take a total change in culture and environment. And there's many actors involved with that. I mean, I would say in general, it would take a combination of government policy, media, religion, and then other cultural factors to really spark a change. And like, as I said, that's bigger than me, but whatever the case, I just wanted to just say that, because when you're really looking at people, you know, like past couple episodes I talked about trolling, and then also before that talked about people being triggered. That's a mental health thing. That's a mental health thing. Those are mental health things. And it's a crisis because, yeah, we have all this nice technology. You know, we got the latest phones and all of that. And, you know, people are talking about AI. Let me get into AI for a second. That can affect people's mental health. What if the AI takes someone's job? You know, they don't, you know, a particular job doesn't need any body anymore because they can have an AI do it. You know, like the other week I was calling up my credit cards and stuff, checking, and it's always a fight to find a live person because so much is done by AI. Now, what if somebody was working on those type of jobs? People who were working on those type of jobs, all of a sudden they don't have it anymore. And yeah, you know, new industries will eventually rise up and everything, but that doesn't happen right away. You know, what if somebody depended on a certain amount of money? I mean, I'm seeing even some fast food places are like becoming more automated. You know, even having robots fix the food or put the food together. How is that affecting somebody who would probably work there? You know, and it's something that has to be really discussed. Not just discussed, but then different, like I said, different actors, different people would have to come up with something. And it would have to be done culturally. Because we have a culture that, quite frankly, it actually promotes mental illness. We have a culture that does. It doesn't really promote overall mental health. I mean, media has a bunch of stuff that just, well, simply triggers people. Simply hurts people, you know, misinformation and all of that. It's something to think about. It's something to really think about, this crisis. And as I said, I threw out some stuff, but it's way, way, way bigger than me. Way bigger than me. So it's something to think about, all right? Let me know your thoughts on that, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace and blessings.